Obviously, the biggest thing to look out for in today's Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach is the progress of Helio Castroneves. 2 days after he was acquitted of all tax evasion charges in a Miami courtroom on Friday, he slipped back into the number 3 Team Penske machine on Saturday. However, his status is currently up in the air, and that is pending him passing a reevaluation from the IRL medical team. This comes after his qualifying wreck in the second round, where he lost control in turn 1, spun the number 3 around, and then backed into the concrete wall. He was not the only Team Penske driver to suffer a bit of a problem in qualifying. Ryan Briscoe not able to make the Firestone Fast 6 because of him going off course at turn 9. He will start 10th in today's race, and he's going to have a bit of a climb ahead of him if he wants to make it back-to-back victories to start the 2009 season, so he's also someone to keep an eye on. Finally, for Team Penske, Will Power, what can you say about him? Winning the pole in a brand new car on basically just moments' notice, really. It really does show how good of a driver he is, especially on street courses. As you may remember, last year he dominated the Champ Car finale at Long Beach, led all but 2 laps to win. So he will definitely be a threat to win here. Another thing to keep in mind, watch row 2. A couple of young drivers, a couple of young hungry drivers in rookie Rafael Matos and EJ Vizo for HVM Racing. Obviously, Matos had a bit of a problem with Danica Patrick 2 weeks ago at St. Petersburg, but I get the feeling that he and his Luxo Dragon Racing team are really starting to make improvements now, and I think it may be just a matter of time before they round themselves into a pretty good force. Maybe they could be the guys to crack the big 3. Of course, they may need a little luck with that, but still, they are really starting to make some improvements. Same with EJ Vizo and HVM Racing. I see them as a mid-pack team on the rise, and obviously both of these guys have extensive road and street course backgrounds, so that plays well here on the 1.9 mile street circuit at Long Beach. Also, another guy to keep in mind, just a dark horse here, Tony Kanaan in row 6. It was really interesting to see Andretti Green Racing struggle in qualifying. Tony Kanaan was, I believe he is 12th on the grid, the highest of the 4 AGR drivers. I mean, if you look back through the field, you'll see Hideki Muto in row 9, Marco Andretti in row 10, and Danica Patrick starting 22nd out of 23 drivers, I believe. If I can check that, I will check that right now. Yes, I am right. She's on the outside of row 11 alongside Stanton Barrett. So basically, AGR definitely has a long climb ahead of them, and it seems like in the early stages of the season, they've just been a couple steps off of the performance from Team Penske and Target Chip Ganassi Racing. I just kind of get the sense that Tony Kanaan is feeling like perhaps one single car team into himself, whereas Marco, Hideki, and Danica are just basically a 3-car team in themselves, and what's more, they're lacking off the pace. So we're going to have to see how AGR manages to come through here, if they can come through on Sunday. A few other things that I want to mention. Keep an eye on turn 11, that signature hairpin here at Long Beach. They're at Long Beach, excuse me. I'm in Boston. I'm not in Long Beach. Anyway, turn 11, a 180-degree hairpin. Very tough, very, very tricky turn to navigate. I know I heard on the radio broadcast and qualifying, Team Penske has busted out their own Long Beach-only steering rack just for this race, just to make that turn. So keep an eye on that. Very important to get acceleration off the corners onto that giant front straightaway, the Shoreline Drive straightaway, to get yourself a good lap and get yourself in position to make a pass at that left-hander at turn 1 that Castroneves has some problems with in Saturday qualifying. Just looking through the starting grid just to get you set. It's going to be Will Power and Dario Franchitti on the front row, obviously. The second row is going to be Rafael Matos and EJ Vizo. Row 3, if I can check this, Justin Wilson and Scott Dixon. Row 4, Graham Rahal and Helio Castroneves, pending him being cleared to drive after his wreck on Saturday. Row 5, Alex Tagliani and Ryan Briscoe. Row 6, Tony Kanaan and Ryan Hunter-Ray. Row 7, Mario Marias and Dan Weldon. Row 8, Robert Dornbos and Mike Conway. Row 9, the aforementioned Hideki Muto and Darren Manning for Brian Reinbold. Row 10, just scrolling down here, we got Marco Andretti and Vitor Mira for AJ Fort Racing. Row 11, Stanton Barrett and Danica Patrick, and row 12, starting caboose, Ed Carpenter for Vision Racing. This is going to be an 85 lap event. It should equate to about 167, 168 miles, just off the top of my head. I'm not quite sure the exact distance, but still, it should be a very interesting race. Very interesting to see all these drivers with lots of experience back in Champ Car at driving this course, going up against rookies that have not really taken a whole lot of laps at this place. People like Mario Marias, people like Mike Conway, people like that. So basically, a really interesting mix here, and hopefully it will make for a very interesting race this afternoon. Coverage will start at 3:30 p.m. on 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time on all the stations versus IMS Radio, Sirius XM, and IndyCar.com. And also at 4 o'clock, we'll be doing a live blog on mvn.com/Indy Racing Revolution. I would love to have you join us. I would love to have you chat with me, talk some smack, whatever. And let's just enjoy the race today. It should be a good one. Once again, this is Chris Estrada from Indy Racing Revolution on Most Valuable Network. I'll see you guys later.